Hello, everybody. Welcome. I think you can hear me. Today is going to be a live animal healing session. So I will wait for the person with their fur baby that's getting the healing to show up to begin that. Those who don't know me, my name is Master Juniper Bloom Mystique. Spirit gave me that name upon my awakening. In 2019, a massive Kundalini awakening. And since then, I've been doing things to the earth that have been quite massive and hard to fathom. From clearing Mount Shasta to activating pyramids to freeing the soul of... It's just a lot. It's all on this channel, though. So feel free to watch that. When my mom comes on, hopefully she can comment. I think she's subscribed to the channel. It is actually for her fur baby. I don't live in the same town as my mom. And she asked for healing for her dog. I was supposed to do this a while ago, but then she had to leave town and had a bit of an emergency. So today is going to be an actual live animal healing session. You guys, the way I do healing sessions are a little bit different when they're one-on-one than what I do on the videos for like a general. I see things that aren't quite normal. I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor. I'm not a vet. I don't claim to be a vet, but I do own the master healer side of myself. Things are amazing that come through. They're never out of fear. However, there is a big fear component in the medical field, and just the way things are. So if I say things, it's because I'm healing them. It's never about fear or, oh my God, you have this, go to a doctor. If anything comes in, it's because I'm in the act of actually healing it. Okay, so that's kind of the way I operate. So let me see if she's messaged my phone. I do have subscriber mode on out of a setting that stays there. So I don't know. I think she's subscribed. I don't see any text from her saying, hey, I can't comment. So when she comes, she will comment. She's always fashionably late. I grew up, my mom was late for everything. I've talked about that. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, I'll just let her know. All right, so that's what this is going to be. And when I do animal healing sessions, they are no different. I mean, no different from when I do them on people. I see all kinds of things at the soul level as well. Animals are quite amazing. I love doing them. I'm honored to do them. The little kitty that I found, I did 2 on him so far, and he was not well when we found him. Boy, is he wild now. He's climbing on my shelves over here. I'm like, dude, glad you feel better. His one eye is fully cleared too. The other one still gunks shut, but we're getting there. Spirit said it would be probably a week or so before it was fully cleared, but he should recover. So if anybody has any questions to the healing sessions, feel free to ask. Don't worry about that. I would be glad to answer. I'm not one that needs to contemplate questions either. They're just in there. It's innate. So feel free to ask anything. Okay. While I'm waiting for her to come on, I'll just see if Spirit wants to say anything. I'll start cleansing the energy, setting up the intention. She is coming. I just talked to her a bit ago. So we'll be patient. I'm fashionably early for everything, so it always drove me nuts. I'm one of those that if I'm like not early, I'm late. Come on, madre. Okay. So I'm going to explain a little bit about how these healing sessions came about. When I had my awakening in 2019, okay, after a tragic event that used to be common to cause awakening, something tragic would happen. The reason for that is because it would cause us to go within, right? It would cause us to detach from our external and go within. Trauma can cause you to do that because, like, number one, you either fight or flight, right? And so flight, you go within. You just kind of shut down. And so that occurred. And then the next thing I knew, I was just following these nudges and a massive Kundalini awakening occurred. Massive. Kicked my ass, massive. My whole world shifted quickly. I was seeing things I didn't even know existed. And then one of the first things I actually started doing was they were nudging me to do card messages. I'm like, okay, I can do that. And I could just see them. I could just see the things in the cards without reading the books. So I was like, well, then the healing sessions, I think that was kind of part of the process of the awakening. In the sessions, what I would actually do in the beginning is different. Oh, she's here. Hi, Mom. I'll just finish really quickly. Let me know y'all can see her comments because she didn't want to come on live with me so y'all can see her, but she's in the comments. But the way I used to do healing sessions is also a little different than the way I do them now. I don't do any one-on-one. Generally, I've done a few, like with family members and things that I know, but I usually just do them through Zoom. I can do them remotely. Okay. I would do what God called quantum jumping. So people kind of call it astral travel or remote viewing. And it was something more than that. I could literally see like my light come outside, my head would drop over, and then I would just suddenly travel to where they were. I could see them. I would get images of things that were around them. I would let them know about it. Like, hey, I see this blanket on you, or I see these slippers, or I see this color of a wall, or sometimes they were in a hospital and I would see all of the thingies. I had a couple people come to me that were like that, or on their deathbed, those kinds of things. And it would scare me. Like I didn't understand what I was doing, but I would literally come outside of myself. My head would drop over and I was no longer in my physical space. And then I would see myself as light. And I would just start running the light through them. And that's how I began doing these healing sessions. And it was quite intense. It was a lot to handle, a lot to process. I would take on the symptoms at first until I learned what I was doing, until I was able to kind of balance it out and kind of master my mastery. I don't know how to explain that. I never claimed to be a master. Spirit called me that and I rejected it at first. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was just coming through me. So that's kind of how it started. Now I tend to, most people would rather do it on Zoom with me. So I do it that way. I could still do it that way. I think my mom, I did it for your friend, right? Your boyfriend, kind of that way. So I do some that way still. And of course that has to be with permission. Those that do remote viewing or those kinds of healings without permission, they're not fully connecting to the light. So anyways, that's enough of that. My mom's here. So Mom, are you ready? You don't really, I know you're used to these. I've done a few of these now for you, for our loved ones and other animals. So just let me know you're ready. I can see you. I don't know if there's a delay in the comments. I just want everybody to know that I'm not sitting here talking to myself. That you were on. It looks like yesterday during school, during class, my Zoom kept messing up. The internet kept messing up and it cutting out, and I had to be the subject for the teacher. So it was frustrating. So I want to make sure that you're here, that you are hearing me, that I can see your comments. I see a hi. Some of the names James Cox. That's not my mom's name, but that's what she is showing up under. So supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Are you here, Mom? Let me know. And I will get ready. And some water. All I got was a hi. So that's all I heard so far is a hi. And it looks like somebody may have left the live. So if I can get you to comment again, that would be great. Maybe I knew the energy was off. So come on in, make your way over. I kind of want to sage real quick. Let's do that. Make sure she's not texting me with technical difficulties. Also, you guys, when I do healing sessions, again, I'm going to throw out a disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor. I don't call myself a medical healer because of that. So I don't want anybody trying to say that I do. However, I will not deny what I do. I've had medical proof to what I do. Okay. It's true all the time, even my own. My mom's been, she's okay. Even my mom's aware of that. She's witnessed the medical proof. When I was activating the pyramids, my heart became enlarged and we didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. But you could see sometimes when your heart messes up, you get those little popped vessels on your feet. You know what I mean? Like those weird capillary things. I had that. And I went to a doctor and they told me I had an enlarged heart. Weren't you there, Mom, when that happened? And I kind of freaked out. I had a video I was doing on here where I was like crying and I was so tired activating the pyramids and the angels were like, keep going. I was like, okay, because I was using my light. Yes, my mom was there. So I was using my light to do it. Just that's what I was drawn to do is my Kundalini light. I was shoving it into the pyramids and it was enlarging my heart. And I have the little popped capillaries on my feet. And even the doctors are like, that's not good. I'm like, I know. However, I did healings on it. Spirit did healings on it. And the last time I went to the doctor, my mom can even tell you it's not there anymore. And I'm like, so does that just heal? And they're like, no. Okay, surely. So they're like, maybe the test was wrong. I'm like, my feet say otherwise, but we'll go with that. Then what are these things on my feet? They're like, oh, I don't know. So I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be a doctor, but what I do is beyond even what they know sometimes. And I have to try to look at it. I have to understand it on the external as much as I see it on the internal. So some people do spark this tendency to go, oh my God, she's saying I have this. Or, oh, if I say anything, it's because we're healing it. It is intense. Okay. So welcome. All right, Mom, are you ready? I'm ready. Everything seems to be going well. Let's just get the show on the road. For those who don't know me, I also burp all the time. I do weird things. I ask you to hold space. Sometimes if you want to write things down when you're getting these healing sessions, she says, ready. You can, because then in the end, we can go over it. But during it, I like to stay in it because I'm not in my body so much, right? I go somewhere else. I go into the animal or the person. And that's really how I do it. I don't like overtake your body, but I'm also not consciously aware. My mom can maybe help. It's just weird. Okay, so let's go. Excuse me. So we are doing a healing on Kochise. I don't think I've ever done a healing on Kochise. So I'm connecting. Again, I burp. So right away, as I'm coming into Kochise's energy, Mom, and you can feel free to comment in the comments so people know that it's you. Her name is actually Cindy, not James. Just so you guys know. But the animals, her dog named Kochise, which I don't see often. I don't know a lot about. I don't live next to my mom. So that's just what it is. So as I'm seeing Kochise, it's as if I'm seeing him on the ground, laying down on his side, and I can see him breathing. Yeah, he is roughly 13 years old. I can see that he's older, but we know that because we know that, but I can also see that. He's older, but right away I'm hearing kidneys and water. So I'm seeing water come in. So I feel like he's having a hard time regulating hydration. I want to say it that way because it's not like I'm being shown like he's just thirsty. I feel like he's having a hard time regulating hydration. And that's what I'm hearing in the kidneys right away. Okay. So that's where we're starting. That's what they're showing me right away as he's laying on the ground. I'm being called to draw in not the sun this time, but the moon, just a little bit of moonlight, moon energy above him. Are we in like a new moon? I think we are near that time frame. My bad. But anyways, they're having me bring in the moon energy above him. There's something about moon balance, moon energy, moonlight needed. So I'm just kind of anchoring that above Kochise. I see him panting and breathing, and I'm drawn to the mouth. I'm being drawn to go in through the. I need to go in through the mouth. So not usually like the feet, like I'll do. I need to go in through his mouth to his teeth and his gums. Like he has some toothache right away. Toothache, like right up here on the top half of his mouth. I feel like on the right side. Also the canine teeth I'm hearing are like kind of looser. So eating certain kibble might actually be hurting him. I feel like you spoiled your doggies. They're so spoiled. He's so spoiled with food. Like he gets all different kinds of foods. I can see this. But if it's like the hard kibble or something hard, it hurts. It hurts my mouth. My mouth hurts. My mouth hurts. And I see up here at the gum line, it's like a little bit like, excuse me, infected, swollen, pussy. So that's where I'm drawing the light in first. I need to start there in the mouth. And I feel like some of this is age degeneration, because that's what they're saying is degeneration of the gums, degeneration of the teeth, the enamel, or the breakdown of the composition of the totality of the tooth. So this is somewhat age related. But I'm going to take my time, and as I'm drawing the light in, my tooth hurts. So I'm drawing the light into one of his back teeth on the right side there. I'm just drawing it right straight up in. I need to draw it in through the root and the gum line and cleanse out the gum line. And I'm panting. Like I'm tired, I'm irritated. So I'm a little bit dysregulation of like water, balance, and also temperature control. So I know we're into summer, but I feel like he's having a harder time controlling his body temperature. Ophthalm. We'll keep in the teeth for a moment, wherever that takes me. Hypothalamus. Oh, my tooth. My tooth hurts. I'm drawing light into his tooth. A few of them, I also need to do the canines, like something with my canines, something with the front. They're a little loose, little breakdown of the gum line. My teeth hurt, which is making my head hurt. And my ear is very sensitive. Ugh. It's all connected. Ugh. Like it's hurting up into my ear, and I don't like sounds. I'm a little irritated. I'm your dog. When I say this, Mom, I'm the dog. But I'm like irritated, and my ear hurts, and my tooth hurts. My tooth hurts. And so I'm going in, and I'm like kind of like with light, with energy, scraping all this muck and yuck between the gum and the tooth. And I need to also bring the light through the tooth into the root and into the composition of the tooth itself. So I'm not just talking about enamel. I'm talking about the totality of what the tooth is. I'd almost like want to get rid of that tooth, but I'm just going to put a lot of light in here, a lot of light in through the tooth, into the gum, into the root, into the root, into the root, all the way up through the root. It's infected. And so I'm taking light up into the root. And now I'm actually drawn to his blood flow, because there is an infection going on. So I'm kind of drawn to the blood system and the subcutaneous membrane. So sometimes infections can spread. That's how sepsis occurs, things like that. I'm just saying there is some toxicity flowing through here. So my tooth hurts. I'm sending a lot of light into the tooth. The root is where I'm breaking down the infection through, so I can actually see it. It's like the light coming up through the root, and it's kind of breaking apart this like muck, the yuck, the bacterial stuff. It looks like kind of like hard pussy stuff, right? That's just the image I get of it. And so I'm just breaking it down. And then I go to the gum around the tooth and I'm kind of scraping out like this enamel stuff that's in there. And then as I'm going up through the root canal, I'm attaching to the ear and just kind of bringing healing through that whole entire area. And I'm going to probably continue because now I'm being drawn to the subcutaneous membrane and his blood, the blood, leukocytes, T cells, so it's kind of taking me through the mouth, going through the bloodstream, also the hypothalamus, hippocampus, hypothalamus in the brain. An immune system is low. So then I hear like breakdown of the kidneys. So I go to the kidneys. Remember I said he was having some kind of issue regulating hydration. So I can drink and drink. So it's almost like if they would say I would have diabetes or something, because those are the kinds of things that happen, right? Like we can't regulate, we can't produce insulin, we can't do these kinds of things. But I go to the kidneys and it's like dialectical, so like dialysis type stuff, like dialectical. I need to cleanse out the kidneys and the subcutaneous membrane. There's actually a connection between the kidneys and our subcutaneous membrane, is what they're saying. So I'm going to cleanse those. It would almost be like like you know how you break down and you go to the doctor and they do these dialysis of the kidneys. So it's kind of like that. So I'm drawing the light in here, and then I also hear leukocytes. So there's a few things I'm going back and forth, so just bear with me. And then my head hurts. And I don't know if that's mine or his, because it was just a weird sharp pain in the head. So let's hold space. So they still have me at the subcutaneous membrane and how it affects and connects to the kidneys. And the brain. Breakdown of the system. They're connected. Byproduct of waste, and like juice, like cleansing that out. Then I am also drawn to the intestines and the colon. My colon and my sphincter muscles are like breaking down. I'm not able to excrete. I'm not able to push out. I'm not able to reject, clear out all the waste. And I'm just tired. So I'm seeing his personalities. Like I'm tired and I'm sad. I know he lost somebody very close to him. And I see that. I see that in his grief complex. Just sad. I'm sad. I'm just sad. I'm sad and tired. Tired and sad. Sad and tired. But dogs are very, like, I can still have my happy points. like I really like certain things. I love car rides. I love going to the park. I love the park. I love the park. I love when you take me to the outside, and we go for those walks. And I like hearing the squirrels and the birds and the things. And yeah, I think that's my favorite thing. Oh, in the car. I don't like it when you leave me in the car so much because I get anxious. I don't know where you are. I get anxious. But I like being in the car. I like being in the car when you're with me in the car. I like the car. The car is fun, and I love going to the park, the outside. The outside. I like going to the outside where I get to run around. And sometimes I've been camping. So I used to go to like the mountains, I think with Ian, because I see him not with you, with Ian, and I go to the mountains. And I really like that. I kind of miss that, but I don't know that I want to go. I feel like the altitude might hurt his kidneys at this time, but he really likes that. Yeah, I used to go to the mountains. I used to go to the outside with like the trees smell different and I can hear water, and I really like that. So then I return to the kidneys and I hear dialysis of the membrane. That's what they're calling it. So cleansing out the kidneys is also affecting the subcutaneous membrane, which is also connecting to the hypothalamus. So we've had temperature control issues, hydration control issues, and it's also breaking down the entirety of the subcutaneous membrane, which connects me to a few different areas of the body. So I need to take my time here. I feel like my burper got clogged. You know how I release? Like something's going on. So I need to tune in deeper to his kidneys and a little bit in the liver. Ugh. Ugh. And a cleansing of the colon will also occur. I feel nauseous. Breakdown of the subcutaneous membrane. Dialectical malformation type of a thing. So it's like when they do dialysis, I feel like that's what's connected. It has to do with the kidneys and cleansing out the toxins and almost like resetting the kidneys, and because they're kind of not functioning in the proper clean out of the system that they should in communication with the system. And it does affect things throughout the body, and it depends on which passageways of the breakdown of the system occurs. I hope this makes sense because this is how I see it, and that's why we're going to the subcutaneous membrane and the hypothalamus, hippocampus. And a little bit of a genetic issue here from the parents' mother side. So I'm also going into a little bit of a DNA repair and a little bit of a healing and repair on the cellular structure. I need to go deeper into the kidneys now and start kind of like scraping the wall of the kidneys. So it's an organ, just like any organ. It has like tissue and mucosa layer, and I want it to be I want things to be able to pass through the mucosa layer, not blocked by this thick mucus. So does that make sense? It's like if we get a cold and we start yellow mucus and we can't breathe, excuse me, but that's how it feels like in my kidneys. Like they're like this thicker mucus stuff and nothing's passing through. It's not, I want to say like malleable. It's not cleansing, producing, flowing, moving, connecting, communicating, movement. It becomes very dense and harder to function, and that's when the kidneys can start shutting down, right? That's kind of what happens. Something happens, anyways, I need to cleanse. They keep calling it like dialectical malfunction. And then I hear like dialysis applied. I don't know. So I feel like I'm pouring in light through the ear. Remember I mentioned the ear and the tooth, and I'm just pouring in light. And then I go through the entire like neurological system, the subcutaneous membrane through the head, going through the head, through the ear on the right side and the mouth, and going through like his face, and also his eyes are coming up. So I may end up going there too. Like I feel like his sight is fading a little bit, but I like almost cataract-y. Anyways, so I'm taking the light through the body. This is like through the subcutaneous membrane because it connects to a lot of things. Our organ, it's an organ. Our subcutaneous membrane is an organ. So I'm taking it through that, and it's like I'm pouring in light. And then again, I hear dialectical malfunction. So I'm pouring in light and going to the kidneys. And it's cleansing out the entirety of the subcutaneous membrane and how they connect to the kidneys. And I can almost feel it, like my gut hurts a little bit. Like I'm irritated. I feel bloated, and my gut kind of hurts a little bit on this one. Or I throw up that yellow, Looks like stomach acid. I just want to throw up. And then when I say that, I see him kind of coughing up a little bit stomach acid. Dialectical malfunction. But then as I'm bringing in the light, it would be like I was doing like cleansing it out. But I'm doing more than that because then I need to go to the tissue of the kidneys and clear out the dead tissue. That would be like that thick mucousy looking stuff. That's a good way to interpret what I'm seeing. And then I'm just cleansing that out. I'm cleansing it out and processing it out. So I need to break it down, kind of like when I've done blood clots or things in the past. I need to break it down so that it doesn't just flow, like it becomes nothing. I break it down to the composition of what it is. And then I go to the liver and I start cleansing the liver and also the urinary tract cleansing a little bit because they're all connected. And now I'm being drawn to the colon. So I'm going to draw the light through the stomach, the intestines, going through the intestines, through the intestines. There's a little bit of like a, I don't want to say a full blockage, but there's something in there. Maybe a tumor? Mass. That's how I'm hearing it. But I feel like they would call it a tumor. But Spirit's saying mass. In the lower intestinal tract, mass. And we're having a hard time passing things through. And then also it's affecting my bowel movements and things. Mass. And I feel a little flu-y, so I feel like he might be feeling this in an expression of a flu symptom. As I'm doing this, it's drawing it out, and I may make him feel like he has the flu, but I feel like it'll be okay. So if he gets a bit lethargic, tired, droopy eyes, little like hello, it's going to be okay. That should be a temporary symptom. You hear me? Hear me on the symptoms, because when I do these, they process through. They're very real. And so he's going to feel a little yucky is what they're telling me. And now I got to break down the mass, but he's going to feel a little yucky. Even his gums might be like palish because of the imbalance in the hydration and everything. And as this passes through, kidneys are no joke, right? So like truly passing this through. So he might look like, if it was skin and not fur, like yellow as this is passing through. But whatever he presents as, it should be temporary. Little whiny, little tired, little lethargic, panting. Regulating, processing temperature movement. Little irritated. I don't want loud noises. Like, give me a moment on travel. A few days, just rest, travel, no travel. So as I go through the intestines, I get to this mass and I start to break it down. And it does look like a weird tissue buildup, like almost if your cells kind of go blah, 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 kind of crazy and they create this dense mass. But it's not like a blockage in my intestines. But if I look at it like through like an x-ray or whatever they do, it would look like a blockage, but it's actually a mass. So I'm starting to break it down, but it's very dense. It's not a soft mass. It's very dense. There is still some passageway, like a very little through the intestinal tract, but I need to break this down. And it's not, it's like kind of creates a bloody system, like a little bit of like bleeding when I'm doing it, because that's how it's representing. So there's like blood flow in it, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to explain this, but as I'm starting to break it down, it would be as if like you were cutting off a scab or something and it does bleed. Okay, so if he has blood in his bowel movements, understand that it should be a little and okay, and that's an if. I don't know, but it might process through that. Or the body could absorb it Either way, it depends on how he processes it. But it's going to be okay. Like, give him time, please give him time to process what he's going through, because it's kind of yucky and it's going to feel like shite as it's processing out. And I'm an old guy, like I'm older, my body's more tired, so it's going to take me a little bit of processing, and I may not like it. I might be a little unhappy. I just need to relax. I like my blankie. Do you have a blankie? I like my blankie. Does he lay on a blankie? Because I just want my blankie. I just want my blankie. Do I have a blankie on my bed? Where's my blankie? I want a blankie. I need a blankie. It's like really warm and I just want to lay on it. So I need to take my time and break down this mass. And I can feel it, like, I know I'm a person and he's a dog, so I don't feel it's quite right. He doesn't have a belly button where I have a belly button. But where my belly button is in relation to the tummy area is where I feel it in the intestinal tract. So it's like deep in there in the intestinal tract, like kind of towards the right and back of my belly button area. And that's just, if he rolls on his back, it's going to be lower down from his rib cage towards the lower part of his stomach area, his abdomen area. That's where I feel it. I don't feel very good. So I don't know if he would let you pet his dog. Like, he probably had some symptoms from this, but it would be hard to understand what those were in relation to. So maybe some pain on his stomach area there at times. If you've ever noticed that, I don't know. You may not have, but I feel like that would have been the symptom, is more physical discomfort, pain. And then I see him get a vision of the mountains. He misses the mountains. He keeps going there in his head. I keep going there in my mind. I can see the trees. They're so tall and I can hear the water. And it was just like I was just, it didn't matter what I did. It's a little wild, but a lot of fun. And I don't like being left in the car alone. I don't like that. I get anxiety and I feel really kind of not well. So if you take me somewhere and leave me even for a sec, I don't like it. I feel really unwell. I just don't like it. I get almost like separation anxiety, but I feel like I can't help. Like, I feel more trapped. Like, I don't like that feeling. But I love the outside. I love the outside. And he actually sees Jade on the other side. Kochise is a what we would call a medium, but I feel like dogs are like that naturally, but they have strengths too. But he actually does see spirit. He's even seen Grandpa Harry a couple times, he said. I don't know. That's what he said. I see him through his eyes. So I'm still breaking down the mass. I have to do it very methodically to not tear intestinal tract, to not too much like what we would call like scar tissue or trauma, because then your intestines can't like tighten, and we don't want that either. So it's like very gently breaking down this mass, breaking down this mass, breaking down this mass. And it does leave kind of like a raw part of the intestine. So he may lose his appetite a little bit. If he does, that's okay. If he doesn't, that's okay too. He might not. Everybody's different in how they process, but he will process. He can tell what I'm doing too. Like, I see him moving. Like, you know, sneezing and like receptive. He's aware. He gets these images as I'm doing this. So I'm going to continue with the mask, but because I'm going very slow with it, I need to go to the eyes. My eyesight's breaking down a little bit, and I kind of go to the left side where I have a bit of like a cataract. You know how they get that like weird color, the weird color in the eye? I don't know if you can see that, but I see it through his eye. So I go to the back of his eye to where we would have like our fovea centralis and also the breakdown of the rods and cones system. And dogs see differently than we do. They see energetic waves. We think they can't see color, but their composition of color is higher in frequency than ours, which is why they can see things that we can't see. This is very true. And so like waves of light off of plants and beings, they can see our aura before they see us, which is why they say to trust an animal. If they don't like somebody, it's because they're seeing something that we don't see, okay? They can see it through their auric field, their energy waves, we're all vibration. So as I'm saying this, the reason I'm saying this is because it's a little bit of a breakdown in that in my left eye, which also makes me feel quite off. And I do like to protect. I may not be like very boisterous or like, but so I don't like to be like, if you walk away from me and I'm in the car, I can't protect you. I feel stuck, but I like the outside, the free, the open. It has to do some of with this too. Like I can't see right out of my left eye. And I like my collars, my bandanas. Why do I see a bandana around his neck? I actually like those. And so he says, like, I like those. My jewelry, she calls it. He gets a kick out of his jewelry. He doesn't quite get it, but he knows it brings you joy and it brings him joy. And so he's lighting up through the joy through his heart space. And that's how he really, truly connects to you. Like he feels that joy and it's lighting up like this golden light from his heart to your heart. And I hear it through jewelry and just those kinds of things. Like you get super tickled, right? Like super happy. So I'm feeling the breakdown, that movement in my intestines went from the right to the left. So as I'm doing the healing there, I feel movement in the pain. It's not super painful, but it's a little uncomfortable. And then I go back to the eye, and it's a ophthalm. This was the ophthalmic release. Didn't I say something about ophthalm? I'm back to the ophthalmic like release in the eye. And so I go to the back of the eye and I'm a breakdown of what his system would be, of the rods and cones system, which caused me to not be able to see like the auric value or certain vibrational frequencies. It's like a cataract almost, like, right? Like parts of the eye kind of dying. And so I'm just healing that. And I go back to the fovea centralis into the optic nerve and like I keep hearing ophthalmic release. I don't, again, not a doctor. I don't have the full understanding of what I'm saying. I only see it and I try to express what I see. Also subcutaneous membrane. So I heard ophthalmic release and then part of the breakdown of the subcutaneous membrane. The subcutaneous membrane is an organ and it affects different organs of the body. They all work together in conjunctive. Homeostasis is our system is able to read, move, flow, connect, talk to each other, synapses, and all this kind of stuff. And when one thing starts to break down, whatever, it's like, right? Signals whole things start to misfire, and it takes everything to function properly. So I go back to the intestinal tract and I'm getting deeper. So I'm almost done breaking down that mass. It's like a mass of like cellular membrane, like almost if your cells start going. So he may have gotten a tear there or had something pass through the intestines that his body didn't like. And the response to that, so it's almost like if you cut off a mole and your body is like, screw you, Batman. And it like didn't like that. And it responds in a almost like, manner of fight, but like intensified. So it's not a normal healing cycle. Does that make sense? And like all these cells kind of go and it causes mass in his intestines. So at some point he ate something he shouldn't have. Foreign object, who the heck knows? I feel like it may have just scraped the intestinal wall. Something didn't break down in this, our processes, and cause some damage. I don't see the item, but I see the result. And as I'm finishing with the mass, I'm starting to go down through his intestines into his colon. And now I'm going through the intestines towards like the sphincter, the colon area, and I'm drawing the light through there. And as I'm cleansing the colon, I feel like they can get things like polyps like we do. So they can have colon issues as well. I do believe dogs can actually have colon cancer. I'm not saying yours does. I'm just saying I see like this breakdown yuckiness of the colon, and I feel like it is something that is for in the energy. It's shown. So either way, I'm not diagnosing. I'm just cleansing. We're just cleansing. I'm drawing the light through the colon. But I will tell you, I do believe you can look it up. Dogs have had colon cancer. You can have something similar to what we have, because as I'm going through his colon, I feel like I see something that almost looks like polyps, right? There's some like dense tissue, what we would probably call kind of polyps. So I'm drawing light through the colon and I'm cleansing. I need to scrape them off. It's like if your skin got this weird thing on it and it no longer felt smooth and it couldn't absorb nutrients, right? Because of like this weird density. That's kind of what it would look like. So I'm just kind of removing that from the colon. And this is wiping him out. But I feel like necessarily. So whatever his does, give him space, give him a little bit of time, like 3 days. I keep hearing the number 3 days time. And he should like cycle through a yucky mucky, like almost like your first healing when you felt like you had the flu and you got hit by a Mack truck. That happens sometimes because we're processing out true yuckiness. It's not like going to a doctor and getting a pill and masking symptoms. It's truly processing out the yuck. So he may feel like he has a flu. My nose might get either severely runny and even possibly dry at the top at the same time. Like I'm going to process this out like I have the flu. And if you see any blood in the stool, it should be fine. But you may not. This is not about panic. I'm just saying if any of those symptoms pass out, because I see them as a possibility, it depends on how he responds and the body responds. I love my jewelry. And I keep seeing the trees and I can smell the difference in the trees. Like I can smell, like right now, I feel like I smell pine trees. And in the fall, I can smell the leaves change. Did you know that? I can smell the leaves change. There's a difference in the smell in the leaves, and I really like that. I enjoy that smell. I like that smell. I feel good on the outside. My paws on the earth, and I feel really good in the outside, and I feel like that's my comfort right now. Like I'm in the outside. There's a little bit of discomfort now at the top of my stomach, so I'm going to go to that area in him, and there's some gaseousness buildup, so he's a little gassy. I don't know if you smell that sometimes, but it's like, like I'm a gassy dude, so I'm pushing out some of the gaseousness, but I feel like it's for a different reason. Some of it was a symptom of the kidney issues, and another was just the foods will cause gaseousness and things like that, and so it's a few different reasons here. So I don't know if there's like, if I get like lunch meat or there's something in here that actually doesn't sit right and it makes me gassy. So it might be like slices of lunch meat. I feel like it's like meat. It would almost look like turkey or something, or ham, whatever that might be. It like really actually caused me to like get really super like I don't do well processing that one. I don't think it's dog food. It almost looks like people food. Almost like ham. Like processed food, maybe. Because that's how it feels like. It feels like if I'm making myself a processed meat lunch sandwich, and I eat that meat and my stomach's like, bleh, and then I get really super gassy and bloated. So I'm just cleansing the stomach wall, the stomach gases, and into the fluid, the acidity. And then kind of pushing down through the stomach. Because of the healing I did on the intestines too, this is crucial. That's what I'm hearing, because I don't want acidity going down. I don't want anything too yucky passing through for a little while. So I'm just cleansing it out, kind of doing a flush, an internal flush. And I feel like a lot of gaseousness in my stomach that just rose. Like it's like my stomach just feels so gassy. Like this big bubble of air or something, right? Because it's not just energy, it's like gas. And I hear it, if I hear it. And then I also go to like the sphincter area and I have to like secrete. So it's like a buildup of muck there and I need to secrete. And then I see him just kind of perk up. Right. So we process. So after all this, like possible, like yucky feeling, I see him kind of perk up and he wants to, I want to go to the mountain. I like the outside, the trees, the tall trees that smell like pine. And then when the weather changes, I can smell the leaves change and I can feel the earth and I can hear the water. I hear the water and I like my mouth is watering for that. Like super happy. And so I'm just redrawing light through everything. And it's kind of slowing down because I'm paying a little more attention to my environment all of a sudden. So I'm just making sure I'm like tracking everything that I did, drawing the light into the ear, the tooth, the gum, the root. Remember the root, and it's still a little tiny bit like pinky, a little irritated, but it's going to cleanse out. And then as that heals the root first, and then a little bit of the gum and the tooth will strengthen. It may not be perfect because I almost want to take that tooth out, but it's going to do what it can do. And that's the best thing I can say. It should heal to the degree it's going to be accepting of healing, and even into the bone. So if we did this again, they might have me do it again, and it might even get deeper. Then I go to the eye and I draw in the light into the eye. I don't know if you're asking me why I hear about the heart. What if you're asking me about his heart? But I'm like scanning down and I don't see anything that I need to do to the heart. But I'm just gonna put some light around that because I feel like you might be concerned about why I'm hearing, is his heart okay? And then like also lungs. So I'm just gonna put some light around those. And something about in his lungs, did he have exposure to that like soot? Like when that fire, I think with you, Mom, did he have exposure to that? Because there's just a little bit of in the lungs there on the top. So I'll just bring in some light and allow that to clear out. I don't even know if he was around then. I don't know. But why this is connecting, I have no idea. But I kind of see that. But other than that, I'm just bringing some light around the chest because I feel like I'm hearing you ask me if his heart is okay. So all I'm being drawn to do is just put some light around it. I feel like the most important part was his bottom half and his subcutaneous membrane and the hypothalamus, and then the ophthalmic degeneration of the ophthalmic degeneration. And so I healed that quite a bit, just putting a lot of light in that, a lot of light in that. And I feel like that would be a process of healing, but we've definitely got a great like healing a bit of that dying of the ophthalmic area. And then going down to the colon, the mass in the intestines, the colon, the kidneys were massive. That was one of the most important things to do, which connect to the subcutaneous membrane, which is an organ that affects multiple areas of the body. The subcutaneous membrane actually helps us process through multiple organs of the body and affects the skin also. And then my hip, I've always had like a hip dip. my hip, like my hip dip. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. Just a weird hip dip. So I'm just going to put a little bit of light at the top of his hip area by his spinal column and his tail. Because I was kind of drawn to the tail earlier, but it never fully took me there. So I'm just taking some light and I'm putting it by where the tail comes together, by the hip bones and then the spinal column. That's where I'm putting light. A little hip dips, what I keep calling, like one of my hips is like off. Like, I love my jewelry and I love all the stuff, just all the stuff. And I really love the outside. But I have a blanket. I want my blanket. I want to lay on my blanket, and I like laying on my blanket in the sun. And I really like the outside. And so I'm just going to do another light flush all the way through his system, through his kidneys, through his whole system. The blood, we talked about the blood. However, they didn't have me detox it in a specific way other than through the subcutaneous membrane. That was the biggest way we access the blood for detoxing and the regulation of the fighter cells of the blood. So it's like fighting an infection type of a thing. I was having a hard time regulating my temperature and water intake. Like, no matter how much water, I'd feel dehydrated, which might give a misdiagnosis of diabetes, but I don't think I have diabetes. I just couldn't regulate. I couldn't process. Like, my kidneys were dialectical malfunctioning. And a little light through the liver to help process out, because I don't want the kidneys coming back to the liver or anything like that. We just want it to flush out. So my urine might be pungent. So if you get a pungency in the urine, it's processing all that. Like, woo, I could smell his urine. Or a weird color. Or even if I have like a little accident, like I can't quite make it and the pee starts coming out, it's probably part of that. All temporary. All temporary. So I feel like I'm ending this. I'm, again, coming more into my surroundings. So I'm starting to come out of Kochise's energy. Oh, and he loves you so much. I see him licking your face in gratitude. He's licking your face in gratitude, but also love, and trying to help you heal your broken heart. He connects to your heart. It's gold heart. He feels your emotions. He connects to your heart. And that's why he doesn't like you leaving him in the car. I can't feel your heart. I don't like that. I can't help. I don't like that. So it's like, I connect to your heart. I'm trying to help you with your broken heart, with your emotions. And I feel your joy with my jewelry. Like, you really light up with that. And you think I'm pretty. And I really like that. And I just love you. And I just want to lick your face. And your wounds. I like to lick your wounds. Like, when you get a wound on your hand, I like to lick your wounds. I like to lick your wounds so you feel better. I like to lick your wounds so you feel better. I'm sorry. I like to lick your wounds so you feel better. I can smell it. And I want to lick your wounds so you feel better. Okay, and I feel like I just went right out of his energy. He was very accepting. I didn't even have to ask. It was like, boom, just let me right in. Sorry about that. I feel super sweaty and yucky now. Like, I need a shower. Like, that was more intense than you think. Trying to come back to myself and open my eyes, and I'm completely cleared of his energy. So I'm just starting to shut down this healing. I am going to leave the moon over him, though. He connects to the moon side of things very deeply. Oftentimes I use the sun. That's the first time I've used the moon. So it's a different in his spiritual component side of self. He just really connects to the masculine side and the moon. Okay. Oh my God, are you serious? Oh, how crazy. Oh, my nose is running, y'all. It's gross. I'm so sorry. She says, Ian's been telling him they're going soon. No wonder that's all he's seeing. I like the outside. I want to, and I can't. I forgot I used to go. I don't live with them, y'all. I don't know all this information all the time. Aww. He foams at the mouth at the dog park. I can taste the outside. I can taste it. That's what he kept saying. I can taste the outside. I like it. Aww. I love their validations, right? Dogs are amazing. Animals are so amazing, you guys. That just warms my heart. So y'all can see her comments. I wasn't just doing this alone. I wanted her to come on side by side, but that's a lot. You know, that's kind of not everybody likes that. So she chose to do it this way, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. All I need is permission of the one that can give permission, and we're good to go. Plus, the dog can actually deny it. I've had to sit with the dog for a minute before they let me in their energy before. But Kochise, he just let me right in. He was super happy about it. Do you have any questions? Did you ask about his heart? Why was I hearing that? I don't know. But if you have any questions, let me know. Remember, he may get a little yucky before he feels better, and that's okay. Give him like 3 days for a turnaround before any fear kicks in, okay? And then call me if you have any questions. We can do another one. Or if you feel like you need to do something, by all means, take care of what you feel. But I just feel like he will have some symptoms. That wiped me out. Like, I don't know why. Oh, wow. I just realized it's been about an hour. I lose time. That was a long healing. I felt like 5 minutes. So if you're still there, Mom, I'll wait just a second to see if you have any questions for me. If you have any thought, well, I don't know why I kept hearing you ask about his heart, but I put light around it. They didn't have me do any healing there as to anything necessary. So that's all I can say about it. They always do the most important thing first. It doesn't mean we wouldn't go in another time and do something there. It's whatever is needed at the time. I don't know if there's a delay. Thank you for all your validations. He's so sweet. He can taste the outside. He can smell the outside. And that's all I keep seeing in his head is just the mountains. Excuse me. All right, I'm not hearing from you anymore. I don't know if I lost ya. Looks like a number went down, so it may have cut out. If you're still there. Do you know I ended the session, Mom? Where'd you go, lady? Where'd you go? Anyways, yeah. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, what? I don't know. Either way, I'm glad you're still there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can call me. You can text me. My phone blew up, so I'm just checking. It's a bunch of gibbly goggle. All right. Excuse me. Still disconnecting and releasing. Offer him water. If he is aversive to water, it should be very temporary. Keep an eye on that. But sometimes if you give them a little water in their mouth, they'll retake it when they don't feel good. You know, it's kind of like if you have the flu, you're aversive to food for a little while, and you almost have to like force a cracker in. Okay, so if he doesn't like water for too long, put a little on his tongue, get a little in his mouth so that he starts to go, nom, 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 and then he should crave it again. Okay, because sometimes we have to like, hello, you need this. You know what I mean? So just that's the main concern here is watching him for water intake. You're welcome. Thank you for coming, Mom. Thank you for allowing me into your baby's energy. Again, if anything happens, just call me. Okay, I'll be right there. I'll keep my ringer on for the middle of the night just in case, because I know he's your baby. So yeah, thank you. I'm teary, I'm sweaty, and now I'm hungry. So I think I'm going to go nurture myself a little bit after that one. I have a live later on Facebook where I'll do some free messages and opportunities there. So if anybody wants to come there at 2:22. Other than that, I got a healing session at 1. So I'm going to go prep for that. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Give Kochise a big hug for me, although I feel like I gave him lots of love when I was there, but go ahead and do it for me, okay? I hope that helped. Be gentle on food. Don't give him anything too difficult to process or break down because of the work in the intestine, Spirit saying. So just watch that as well for a few days. Just gentle stuff, soft foods, gentle stuff. Try to offer water. If he goes too long without wanting water, put a little on his tongue and rehydrate his tongue and get him craving the water again. Because I did a lot to his kidneys. That can be jarring. Okay. All right. So much love. Call me later, okay? Or I'll call you in a bit and check in on you. Okay. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching and observing. And again, I'm not a doctor. I don't claim to be. I just do what I do because that's who I am, okay? Okay. I'll see you guys later. Okay, perfect. All right. Bye.